Welcome back to the Final Fantasy Tactics All Oracles Challenge, being recorded here in February of 2022. Hope you are doing well wherever and whenever you are. Today we are heading to Doguola Pass, and we've got plenty of time to chat about this one, as you've probably seen. This might be another video that I'd recommend, putting it up to the old 1.5 times speed if you're watching here on YouTube. It will not change the pitch of my voice as I commentate this, and it will make the battle move a little bit more if you want to see how a party like this handles battles of this challenge level. This is normally in a casual run, pretty trivial battle. It's kind of one of those in-betweeners. There's a couple of in-betweener battles here. It's against a bunch of human units, they're not monster units, of various tough classes. There's some tricky stuff. There's a couple of mages, and then a bunch of tanky guys. The Lancers there are going to give me some trouble with jumping. That Archer is going to be more pesky than anything else. And the Black Mages really need to be handled fairly quickly. So, when I was getting ready to come in here, I could have gone for the regen bag strategy and just relied on other things for my offense. But I did go for some sticks for a little bit more offensive output. And this way we can once in a while pop an attack off, especially since we're going to be making generous use of Paralyze and Don't Act. That's a really nice way to get around all of their heavy armor, is if you have a Knight or a Dragoon in Don't Act status, then they cannot use their shield or their mantles to evade. You still have to deal with a lot of hit points and defense in that, but it's a little easier. So the Black Mage applies haste to himself, so he's going to have to be dealt with pretty quickly. The Black Mage with haste is not it's not a character that I want hanging around. I'm just checking to see what he's got. Looking at everybody's equipment here to see what they've got and what their abilities are. This one just has Black Magic and only Black Magic. This Lancer has Charge. That's interesting. I would actually hope that he uses Charge. That makes it a little bit easier, but I don't think that they will. They're going to be using more Jump. So anyway, Ramza is looking at when his silence is going to fire off, and it is going to indeed go before that Black Mage gets a turn. So even if the Black Mage did get a turn, he would be marked for silence, which we talked about before, where if a silence spell is being cast on a magely character and they get a turn, usually they will decline to charge a spell because they assume that they are already in silence status, or they behave as if they already are, even if it's not certainty. As it isn't here, Ramza only had, I think, a 60% chance to land that silence. So I think I'm going to double up here on the silence song. It's got a higher chance to hit, and it lasts longer than Paralyze or Don't Act. I'm checking this wizard's Faith, and look at that low Faith value, 56. That's why you saw me get out of there. I was like, wow, 2 characters in a row with really, really low chances to hit, and that is indeed why. He's not going to do very much damage with his spells, which is a good thing, but still I don't want him dropping a bunch of Fire 3s on me, especially with my characters who do have pretty high Faith, because it's a function of both the caster Faith and the target Faith. So I don't want that Black Mage hanging around, especially since I'm going to be planning on bunching my characters up quite a bit. They're going to be kind of protecting each other, and eventually I want to get them up top there so that I can kind of hurl spells down at the big beefy guys from the safety of an upper vantage point. Although, of course, the Dragoons are going to have the jump to get up that little rock step there, so we might have to take care of that. Now, these 2 units right here in the front, the Lancer and the Knight, both have pretty good Faith values, and so you can see my Paralyze is doing really nice percent to hit them, and they happen to move to the same level. They did that in my first attempt at this battle as well. I did take a game over here because I moved up a little bit too aggressively, and I missed a pretty high chance Don't Act. I had like an 80-something% Don't Act, and I missed it on a character, and then the Dragoon got a turn and was able to hit one of my charging oracles for lethal. So this was my second attempt at it. So here, I'm getting a little bit aggressive here in attacking with the HP damage, assuming that both of those Don't Acts are going to hit. That's a little bit on the aggressive side, but I wanted to try that for my second attempt here. I didn't want to play too conservatively. That's also why I brought in the sticks, as you can see, instead of the bags for regen status, because I just thought it would be not as useful to have regen status for this fight, because these human units are pretty susceptible to a lot of our shenanigans here with the oracles. So Don't Act does indeed hit both of them, so that takes them out of the battle for a few rounds. Not as many as I'd like, obviously. So there's a couple of redundant Don't Acts there. Let's see if I actually get all 4 of them to land. Yeah, I do. So all 4 Don't Acts landed on those 2 characters. So I also prefer, I should make a note, with magely characters, I prefer Silence, not only because it stops them from casting, but it makes them do that. A character who is in Don't Act or Paralyzed, they will usually retreat from the fight. They'll leave the battlefield. You can see these guys, when they get turns, they're going to retreat to the bottom corner because they just can't do anything else. But the AI will make a magely character charge up at you and take a swing with their stick. So there is the Lancer who's charging an attack on my Oracle right there, and also this Archer is firing a shot at her. Luckily, the Mantle helps her dodge it, and she'll have a chance to dodge when the Lancer gets his swing as well. That is, you just saw the Absorb MP, so that's Bolt 1, clearly. And so there's a charge attack also missed, so the enemies are 0 for 2 on her in this particular round through combat. So Ramza is just counting some tiles and looking where he can go. We do have the rods for good damage, so we will be able to do good damage against the magely characters, especially if they're charging. We can get a bonus, but that one won't be charging anytime soon because of the silence. But so you can see silence status makes these mages, they think that they're a knight all of a sudden, they'll come up at you to take a swing with their wizard rod. So that mage is now in a much more vulnerable position because of that. So I'm having Ramza decide what he's going to do, because we have to kind of consider, we have this mage character which we can work on trying to take him out with damage. We can also, though, start working on some of the other more dangerous characters. You know, I could try to get silence on the other mage, or I could try to maybe start working on the hit points of that Lancer down there. So it's something to consider here. Unfortunately, we weren't quite able to have any character with the compatibility. We just did our base damage of 100. That's what it is with the Goku Rod. That one's a pretty simple multiplier. It does take your magic attack into account, the rods. So higher magic characters do get a nice bonus to the damage there. And now here I've got a really nice chance to land Don't Act on both of these guys. So if I do that, that'll be all 4 of the characters on the lower part of the map are paralyzed in Don't Act status. Sadly, it doesn't last super long, but it will be very helpful to have them out for a while so that we can finish up the Archer up here and put the last finishing touch on this Black Mage. And let's see, so she actually had bad compatibility because she took the penalty down there to her 2 hit. And so I'm confident enough in those paralyzes landing that I'm going to go ahead and move her here. She's going to do Life Drain, and she's going to try to pick up some hit points. She's taken a little bit of damage from the Bolt spell, and I believe she may have taken an arrow earlier. I can't remember. She may have been the one who took an arrow earlier. She did dodge an arrow and dodge a spear attack, a charged spear attack. It's curious that Lancer didn't choose to jump. It must have been because we were going to get a turn before the jump would resolve. Enemy Lancers with computer AI are really good at that. I think they know better before they jump when the unit might get a turn. It's a little bit harder for you as a Lancer player to do that. So you can see when they're in Don't Act, all of them are going down. So actually it would be better if the Wizard was in silent status, because that Wizard would have charged at us. We could have then just gone to work on him with our sticks. But because he was next to the Lancer, we thought it would be better. I thought it would be a little better to just go ahead and just do a area of effect paralyze and try to get him at least out of the battle for a little while. When the Don't Act expires, he's going to be a big threat again, so we might have to prioritize that Wizard when we can. So I've got the mantles on here, you can tell, because of our movement is only 3. And I did that, of course, because I knew there was going to be arrows flying and the odd spear attack, so we need to make sure we're mindful of that. And now I'm just chasing this Archer up to the top of the hill here, of the pass, I guess. We're at the Doguola Pass. Just checking on when she can cast things. We are going to double up on the Paralyzed there. And then this one that retreated, she is now going to start climbing that hill. So she cast the Life Drain and then retreated back behind. That was really just so that the Archer wasn't going to be able to target her. And you can see it seems like just a minute ago we applied Don't Act status to those first 2, but it's already expired. So now we have a Knight and a Lancer who are going to be coming at us. So the first paralyze misses on the archer. Let's see if we can get the second one to land. And that one misses as well. So that is 2 misses in a row. And here comes a knight, and a lancer is going to be close on his heels. And then there is the lancer coming up the hill. But Don't Act also has the, especially for physical characters who don't have reached attacks, has the added benefit of they take a couple of actions to get out of battle, and then when Don't Act expires, it takes them a couple of actions sometimes to get back in the battle, to re-engage with your characters if you've kept them at a distance. And as I said, physical bruiser kind of characters without ranged attacks take even longer to do that. And when we've gotten, in the meantime, we've gotten a positional advantage with the high ground there as well. If we can just get this archer taken care of, we're going to be okay. And so we're looking at, everything's got a pretty, lower than we'd like chance to land right there. So we'll see if we can get that archer paralyzed. And if that archer gets paralyzed, then we can just go to work with our sticks. That's kind of the idea, is the archer's kind of running away from us here, is trying to stay a good distance back. But the archer with the bow, if we can actually corner that archer in the middle, in the corner there, the archer wouldn't be able to target the characters that are too close to him. That's the cool thing about the longbows, is that they can't hit those characters. So we have a 90% chance to hit here for 120 damage, and it misses. So we have missed a couple of actions on that guy. Now, we did mistime this paralyze because we saw the archer got a turn. He moved next to our character, so there's nothing I can do about that. Don't Act is going to fire on the charging oracle there, unfortunately. The best I can do now is just not move anybody else into the radius. That's why I'm not having anybody else move next to the archer to attack him, because they're about to take a paralyze. They're about to take a Don't Act, unfortunately. And so now I'm just seeing who I can apply Don't Act to down here. Probably should have gone for the Lancer in hindsight. I should have prioritized the Lancer because he goes ahead and blocks the first one. And a string of bad luck here really extended this battle. You'll see that when you see the total time of this battle. We had a really bad run of luck, of things with 70-80% chance missing over and over and over and over again. Now, obviously, every roll is independent, so you can't really say anything's guaranteed, but we did have kind of a rough streak there. So one of our characters is now in Don't Act status. Yay! Hooray! And we missed it on that archer. I think that archer's got a pretty low faith value too. I haven't really checked it or looked at it, but there. That one had the nice bonus to compatibility, 120. And now this Lancer is fully capable and is able to get up here and charge a jump on our character. So that's why I was like, ooh, should have probably focused on the Lancer before with the paralyze, because now that Lancer is fully functional, he can be a big threat to us, and he can hit pretty hard. So there we landed an attack on the archer, finally. And this Black Mage is back in the mix now. Paralyze has expired, and now he's targeting 2 of our characters. He's charging something. Now, thankfully, he chose a longer charging spell. I want to say it's Fire 2 or 3. Yeah, it's Fire 3. And so we actually can get Silence to resolve before his Fire 3 with a 97%. I'm happy about those numbers. And so it will, the wizard will be silenced before the spell goes off, so the Fire 3 will be nullified. And I do have a 100% chance to hit in the back of the thief here, but we do have a jump. Jumps, I believe, are unavoidable, undodgeable. So the jump is going to be troublesome. Okay, so there, the wizard is silenced. He's going to try to cast, but that's what that little proc means, is silenced. Now, she needs some health, so she's going to try to drain the Dragoon. And I probably should have, at this point, moved her, especially because that wizard turned into a crystal immediately. I should have moved her farther away, because when that Dragoon gets a turn again, he's just going to go right after her. That was definitely a misplay by me. I thought that maybe there was something I could do before that, but there is not, because that Lancer's going to turn again immediately, and he's in the air already. So I can't do anything to him now. My characters are all going to get their actions, and this is where we could be doing things like paralyzing him. We could be doing things like draining his life, all of that stuff. We could be whacking him with the sticks. But sadly, we can't do any of that because he's in the air. And that other Oracle is going to take another big hit. Now, she did get a drain off, but he's doing more damage than she's draining from him at any given action or turn. So it's going to be a tricky one. So she's just moving where she can do the most damage. And if I can actually guard that tile from Dragoons popping up there, that would be nice. And one thing actually I am not sure about is what Dragoons do if you move onto their tile that they needed to be at. I don't remember what happens here because I think that's where he was standing. I don't know if they go to an adjacent tile somewhere. I don't know what happens actually. That's an interesting question. If you move to the tile that they started their turn on. But anyway, we're still just counting tiles here to see where we can go. We do want to keep that wizard out of being able to cast. But if he's silenced, he's going to come up towards us. That's the thinking there. So if he's silenced, he's going to be less. Yes, he's going to actually try to move up towards us a little bit instead of just retreating down to the corner where the knight's hanging out. So there's another life drain. Sadly, because of his low overall hit points, it's not draining the kind of values we'd like. And yeah, so maybe that wasn't where... Yeah, I guess that tile, we couldn't move to that tile before. That tile wasn't blue before, so maybe it just blocks you from moving to that tile. So she's charging another life drain on him, and then she moved down by that crystal. Sadly, she couldn't quite get to the crystal. And she misses the life drain right there, so she's in danger now. I really need to do something about that Dragoon. Now, Ramza's standing right in front of his shield, and that's even worse. He must have a shield with a really good magic evade. I don't remember now looking at what his shield was, but it must give him pretty good magic evade. Because I'm like, what can I do with this guy? I'm looking at everything here. So paralyze is low. Everything's just a low chance. Physical attacks are low. And all of my spells are pretty low to land. And looking at when he's going to get a turn again. Yeah, so this is trouble here. So we've got to get something to happen. This is a long think that I had here just because I had a character who is in such troubled state. You can see I thought about attacking again. I don't remember now what I ended up settling on. Okay, it looks like life drain. And I should have probably moved Ramza out of the way there maybe because another character could have come in, but it would have been a low chance physical attack anyway. So I'm thinking that's what my calculation was. So I got to try to see if I can land some of these. And that one's going to miss. That was a low chance to hit anyway, so I presumed that one would miss. Let's see what this one does. That one also just straight up miss. Now this Lancer's coming up. And so she's going to look at it. She's going to try for this one. She's going to try to pick up a little bit of hit points. I think that's why she did that instead of going for the stick attack because she had taken a hit. And now that one missed as well. So you can see we had 3 life drains in a row just miss right there. And this Black Mage now is coming around. There's a crystal over there, which I think now is the Black Mage's target. And so thankfully the Lancer, in his wisdom, decides to just go for a physical attack on this character instead of trying to do a jump on anybody. So he stays vulnerable to spells now. We can continue to target him with things. Let's see if we can land one. So there it is. So there is 4 in a row that we missed on that Lancer. That's 4 life drains in a row that we missed. Here comes number 5, I believe. Ramza's gonna see if he needs to move first or if there's something he needs to do with this wizard. It looks like he is gonna move down to work on the wizard a little bit. And that's okay too. Because if he gets that to land, I think the wizard had 40 and he was gonna do 41, so I think that will be a lethal life drain right there. He could have maybe left the wizard to Dorothy down here, or Julia, our last Oracle, since she was going to get a turn immediately. And look at this huge MP restore right there. 217 and 17. And then she got 15 from moving. But yeah, so she was at 10 hit points. 217 out of 227. So she was really, really close. And that crystal is so frustrating when you see an enemy that you've worked on a lot pick up a crystal like that. It's very frustrating as a player. And so if the AI here had feelings, I'm sure they'd be feeling pretty frustrated. As they were chasing down the crystal, there's another miss on this lane. So this is the long streak of bad luck that I'm talking about that we kind of got stuck on. We just got in a loop here of just like that Lancer down there just needs a few more hits. So it's just a few of these to land. And he'll be down. But we just cannot seem to get anything to stick to him. At least at the moment. So now we're looking at trying to play a little bit more defensively instead of just going all out for the life drains. Looking to see what our chances are to land things. And so I'm going to change it up here and go for the 89 instead of the 83. And she's going to move back a little bit, so she's going to pick up the MP, and then she's also going to be a little bit out of the way from this very thing happening right here. That's why I was looking to where that guy can move. And look at this, another jump attack charging on her, and the spell fails because we had targeted a spell, and he did a jump attack. So that is another misplay that I didn't really look at, that Lancer getting an action and then jumping out of harm's way. So that's another misplay for me. I should have done something that was going to go off before he got an action. I don't know if I could, but I needlessly charged a spell then if there wasn't anything I could do about it. But I moved her out of the way just so that she couldn't get attacked. But then you can see the Lancer came up here and jumped on our friend there. Okay, so this life drain, she must have best compatibility because that's 100% to land. She's going to take 80 from him. And he's not really giving us his back to attack with sticks, because sticks would do more damage than that, I believe. But he's not really giving us his backside to attack for free. Yeah, so here we go. So this is going to be another nice chunk, 80. And Ramza, I think, is going to move up, or he thought about moving up to block. And so maybe I should have had him move up to block, because he could have blocked that tile, and maybe the knight there couldn't actually make the jump. If we stood and blocked that step, maybe the knight couldn't make the jump up and couldn't attack us up there. I don't know what the vertical tolerance of the spears are, or sticks are for them. Maybe the spear's vertical attack radius could reach us from the tile down there. I'm not sure. But I would definitely think a sword attack could not reach that high. That's another thing that I did not look up. So if this life drain lands, we're going to be in better shape. So that Dragoon is down, and she has recovered some hit points. She probably won't survive another jump attack as she stands, as it is. But she's doing better than she was. She might survive a sword attack, or just a regular spear swing. But those Lancers would do best to just keep jumping, but they don't always choose to jump. Glenn, I think, is the knight, and Fordham is the Lancer. That's what I was just checking to see where I could go with this, to see if I can slow them down a little bit more. So if I can get them slowed down, then I can just start lobbing spells. And I might actually have to, if they both retreat, I may have to actually get down there or start chasing them down if they retreat to the corner. You can see there's another miss. So that same one has taken, I don't know, at least 5. Is it 6 or 7 maybe? That one down there has dodged. Let's see if Paralyze will stick to him. And so Paralyze does stick to him. Don't Act does stick. And so now he's going to move over here, which puts him exactly 4 tiles away from this corner, I believe. So right there, she can move and she can get to him. Yep, she can target him right there. That's perfect. And we'll see if we can actually get this one to land. Let's get this one to stick. Yes, there we go. Finally, we got one hit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now Ramza can start working on this knight. We're going to try to stay out of harm's way as much as we can and just kind of lob spells from a distance. The sticks didn't become too involved in this battle, so I probably could have done the bag strategy and just used... We ended up using a lot of life drains anyway. Could have done the bag strategy and gotten more regen hit points restored. Could have gone for that strat. That's okay, though. So Rams is going to go for a life drain on the knight. Always happy to see the wounded animation play on characters. Now, she is not able to quite get to 4 tiles away from that Lancer, but I know what her plan is here. She's going to target Sleep because Sleep has a vertical tolerance in targeting, so she can actually target the tile next to him and she can hit him, so he's down a level from that. Paralyze would not hit that second tile. Sleep is more durable anyway. It's a lower chance to land, but it's more durable. So she's coming over here. I think she was thinking about maybe trying a stick attack on his head. But I think we thought better of it in the end. She's got a better chance to hit anyway from down here. She knew that that was going to pop up. And I'm doing the wait trick with her, so it's not really a trick, but I'm just, in lieu of moving and resetting her CT lower, she's just acting and waiting so that she gets a turn a little bit faster. I'm not sure if it'll make a difference at this point in the battle, but when you have more enemies around in the battle, you can end up getting a couple of slots higher in the AT list if you do things like that. And any little speed advantage can help a lot. Looks like she couldn't quite target the knight, but we're also out of range of the knight because he doesn't have any ranged attacks for us, so there's not much he can do to us. And so right there, Sleep does land on that Lancer right there. And now I know what I'm going to do. This is an easy call. Just try to land a Petrify, and I can just keep lobbing Petrifies at him over and over and over again. For the rest of the battle, I can just keep throwing Petrifies. Petrify attempts will not wake them from sleep, and Life Drain will wake them from sleep from the HP damage. And now, so the one here, there's not much she can do because she's 5 tiles away from the Lancer, so yeah, she's going to start to wheel her way around. If we end up having to go down there and take this Lancer out with our sticks, I guess we will, if we need to. But there's not really any reason to. If she can just keep lobbing Petrifies, they can just keep throwing Sleeps at him. But we do want to get more characters in range. We can just keep throwing Petrifies from everybody. We can just have all 5 Oracles throwing Petrify at him. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this chest, it looks like. Earth Clothes, very nice. That'll save me 10,000 big ones. And here's the first Petrify attempt. Everybody's gone except this guy, and that one's missed. But when she gets in action again... Oh, don't act is expired, that's nice. So he's no longer paralyzed. There we go. All right, so she's going to go again, 60%. Eventually one auto land, although we did get some bad luck earlier, as you saw, so it could take a little bit. That's why I'm having my other characters work their way around so that they can also get in range. They need to be 4 tiles away before they can cast Petrify. And because of where he's sitting, we're going to have to get down there. And, you know, naturally you could just have them all wait and just have one caster, but given the luck that I've had so far in this battle, I decided not to just leave it to that. And we'll see if the second one will land. Indeed it does. And that is the end of the Doguola Pass. Little intermediate battle. Not too tricky, but took some tactics to overcome. So on we go towards Bravinia Free City. We will see you next time.